This is a big question, bro. You ready for
Okay.
this? Which server do you think is better, LOTC or Thronecraft?
It's a nice building.
Very nice building. Wait, who are you?
Hmm?
MCVDK? What's good, fam? Welcome back to the second episode 2 of the TCPW podcast. I am on my Jagdis character for the occasion of Thronecraft. Yeah. How do you feeling, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, actually. Although it's very late, but I'm feeling good.
So thank you to what's her name for letting us use the
Sunless.
Sunless for letting us use the Sunless for letting us use her like mage tower, something like this, to be able to hold the meeting. So without further ado, would you like to lead us to the room?
Across this way, mate.
Wait,
Yep.
There's really taxes in Glendale, isn't there?
Well, that's the quotas, but when I owned this place, you didn't have to do the quota either. So you just lived in this massive house for free.
Oh, that's what's up, bro. That's crazy. I mean, the quotas aren't really that hard, so I'm not really tripping. It always gives. I like the quota system a lot. So yeah, here's our meeting place. It's like slash shit. I guess I have to slash shit because this thing is weird. So MCVDK. What did you
That is I.
first of all, where did you get the inspiration for that name? Because I've always wondered. It's pretty unique.
Right. I get asked that a lot, actually. Well, back in the day, I had a bunch of friends, and we wanted to make this YouTube community. And MC stands for Minecraft. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yep.
The V stands for the word friends in Danish.
Okay. Ooh.
And DK then stands for Denmark. And the plan was that it was going to be Minecraft, Danish Minecraft content.
Ooh.
Created by friends. But we didn't have the equipment at the time, so it kind of just started sort of decaying.
Okay.
And I ended up, we were two left at the end, and I ended up saying, I'm gonna take this name and I'm gonna keep it. And
That's
I've had
cool.
it for 3 years, I think.
Well, I mean, I hope like you do have a YouTube channel, and I know that you kind of do YouTube videos every now and then. So I mean, it's actually pretty interesting content. You do other also if you guys didn't know, a lot of my inspiration for like podcasts and stuff came from his podcast on Thronecraft. So that's really cool. The fact that I'm basically beating my childhood hero for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I do YouTube. At the moment, I mainly stream because that's sort of what I have time for. But
Yeah.
I do YouTube.
I really don't have time for anything because I have college and all that stuff. I have college and like school, so I have like no time for fucking editing or
Busy
anything.
life. Busy life.
Huh?
Busy lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I want to ask you, who are you? What? Like, give us a brief explanation. If you were someone to ask you, who the hell are you? Who are you? What do you do on Thronecraft? Like, what noticeable accomplishments or anything like that?
Right. Well, I am a Minecraft role player. I would consider myself a veteran on TC. I've been on here since August 25, 2016.
Oof.
Started out in Barith, back in Karuta. And played almost every day on the server for a solid year.
Ooh.
I am, to many TC players, I am known as the guy who switched characters a lot.
Yeah, I know about that. Lord of the Crap. LTC. My wife.
I actually haven't PK'd that yet.
Oh, damn.
Anyway, on top of that, I am a Minecraft roleplay YouTube content creator. I would consider myself that. I also do other things on Twitch, other games, and then I am a former TC staff member.
Oh, yeah, and also, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. You know, you're a former mod. You know, you've been in the position of being a regular player in the mod. Like, how did it feel being a mod? Like, what was it like?
It's very different from having spent almost a year and a half being a regular player and always asking for the help by the mods, and then being switched over into the position of being the person who helps people. Definitely gives a change, and it did at times get very stressful. There was some situations which wasn't very nice, and often some big things that needed to be decided in the staff team. But it's I mean, you need to be how do I word this? You need to be mentally healthy. I mean, in the sense that you need the time, you need the energy, and you need the
Competence?
yeah, you need this sort of wanting to do something for the community.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't have that motivation drive, you are gonna die slowly as a staff member.
Yeah, and honestly, I've seen that also with like I'm not trying to throw any shade, but at the LTC staff, I think a lot of it is you have to have a certain passion for it, you know, because it's so time consuming, and it's like it's almost like you know you have to have a certain love for it because you're not really enjoying the game for entertainment, you're facilitating it, and so that could take a lot of the fun away. So if you don't have the love for it, it's like dang, like it's just you're gonna like you said die slowly as a mod, you know.
Yeah,
But
and I
what?
mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The Switch is also very big in the sense that what you usually experience as a player on Thronecraft and on any other server really is you sit down on your computer and you play. When you become a staff member, it becomes more, in a sense, work related. You do some things which require you to do more work. So in that sense, it's a big change in that usually you popped on to play. When you become a staff member, you go on to sometimes you would go on simply to check if something was wrong.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes you would get messaged on Discord, on Skype, or whatever, saying your help was needed, and then you'd pop on. So it becomes slightly more like a job and a duty to be online than it is to play.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I do want to add to that. Even though I was on the LTC like media team, and I remember just like having that feeling of you're doing this as a job and not for fun anymore. It kind of took a lot of my enjoyment out of content creating, and so and when it slowly died down because a lot of people had the same mindset, and so that's like kind of a thing. Like you have to be, you know, you have to love it and stuff like that. So I can understand where you're coming from, even though media team isn't at the level of being a mod. I can understand where you're coming from. But what permissions did you get from being a mod? Like, what certain permissions? I was just curious.
Well, you get access to various things. One of the most obvious is vanish, so you can deal with things without being seen. We also we have the ability to check logs in game, so that we can see if someone took items out of a chest, if someone broke something they shouldn't have broken. It very much depends on which rank the stuff you are, but generally you get core protect, it's called, and fly and vanish.
Yeah,
that's the general things.
Okay. So like as a mod,
that's sort of the base permissions.
Okay. So just the basic stuff. Okay. So what was the process like? What was like your everyday life kind of like as a mod? Like just your normal standard day, like
Well, it often went that you would do your own real life stuff, and then later on in the day, about 4 p.m. ish, you'd get on. You'd role play like normally. Sometimes maybe just sit around. And when we have this ticket system on Thronecraft, and when a ticket then popped up, you would, if you could do that ticket, you'd take it.
Okay.
And then it was also a lot about, especially as junior moderator, you do a lot of application work. And then it's a lot about checking the forum, because we are also part of moderating that.
So you guys do forum moderation and game moderation as a moderator?
Yeah, we do. We do in-game moderation. We do forum. I'll call it monitoring, because only the forum the people with the forum moderator rank can actually do something on the forum. But it is every staff member's task to do to comment on something if something is wrong.
Okay.
And then we do application work. That's mostly in the start as a junior mod, though, where you work a lot on applications and accept new players onto the server. And then depending on what you're good, I mean, we have the community manager, who stands for informing the community and so on. Then we have the event team manager, who stands for making sure the event team runs properly. We have the build team manager, who obviously stand for the build team. And then we have the rolling mechanics manager, who manages the application team. It's called. It's the team for accepting CSAS skill applications.
So I have a question. So do all these mods all together have all general mod permissions on in-game on the server?
Yeah. I mean, you can be given certain permissions. I had builder permissions because I was doing events. So I needed to build things sometimes. So I had that plus permissions on. But in general, you have the general mod permissions, and then if there's something really needed, you can get it by asking for permission for it.
So what's your body count?
My what?
Your body count. How many players have you banned?
I have banned 1 player.
Wow.
And I have warned 5 or 6.
No, but
I also mainly did what I mainly did as a staff member was a lot of it was mainly events, really. I was a big part of the event team, and then I was a big part of I mainly gave ideas and debated discussions and so on, and came with input. So I mostly worked sort of behind the scenes and things.
Okay. So you like that role, like just being just behind the scenes, just being like low key, just
I
straight.
found it more calm. It often meant that I didn't have to be on the server so much, which if I had something to do, it was kind of nice to be able to sit down on your own and then write something or read something over, like reports and so on. That's mainly OC work, which doesn't have to be done over the server.
So you like that stuff. I don't know if I would like that stuff like that. I feel like that would be kind of office work. Like I feel like I'd be working in the office or something.
I like it that way. It's I mean, of course, when you're in game and have the tickets you can solve, you do it. But I did enjoy working more sort of behind the scenes, giving input on various things.
Okay. So for any players that are like aspiring to be mods and that want to be mods, what is your advice to them? What kind of person do they need to be? What kind of person? What are they in for? What are they preparing? What should they prepare for? Jesus.
Um, I think the main thing they should count on is that they need time. If they already think they have a busy schedule, don't apply for moderator. Don't apply for stuff. Because if you think you have a busy schedule already, you're gonna get overwhelmed very quickly because you need to be on a lot. You need to do a lot. And there would be. I mean, I was on a 3-week holiday at one point, and through that entire holiday, I wrote event stuff because I needed it done. So I was often sitting in the hotel room where we had Wi-Fi and writing on my phone because I needed it done. So you need a lot of time. That's, I'd say, the utmost important thing when you consider applying for moderator.
Yeah, that's.
On top of that, anxiety isn't a great thing to have as a moderator. It's possible because there is this behind the scenes work, but in general, you need to speak with players. You need to communicate, and if you have a sort of an anxiety-ish thing, you often have a hard time doing that. That isn't really amazing. Well, and then a thing I consider very important too is being confident in your actions. If you, as a moderator, are moderating something and appear to not know something, appear to be nervous. Sorry.
Very good.
Needed to cough. You need to appear confident at all times, because if player have the slightest doubt about the thing you're doing, they're gonna try to pick on that if they're in the bad situation, and that's for sure.
Oh, and I want to add to that. I do subconsciously think that way too. Just like when you just said that, like I feel like I do that as well. Like I want my moderator to be confident about what he's saying, what he does, and whenever my moderator doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, that kind of like I'm like, oh, this guy's weak. I'm not gonna respect this guy. But that's subconsciously. I'm not gonna go ahead and call him a bitch or anything like that. But I'm like, just to have it's good to have that confidence to be a moderator. That's totally right.
Confidence is definitely a great thing to have. And then lastly, I'd say that a calm mind would not hurt in moderation, because if you many situations can become very stressful, and in those situations you are the person who needs to set the calm example. Because if you don't, then the players become nervous, the players become stressed, and that's kind of where it starts going down. Then it refers back to the confidence. Then they start picking on you.
Sure.
Because if you start get angry, you appear again weak. You appear to not know what you're doing. And in that sense, a calm mind and often speaking very nicely towards players is a big part of moderation.
I can't deal with no asshole moderator because I already feel like that you're against me, and it's like me versus you. So like I like when you come at me positively and nicely. So like if you're trying to become a moderator, that's one thing that you really want to learn. And I do feel like the toxicity is lower on this server than other servers that I've played on with moderators. So I feel like you probably don't get that as much as you probably did on like if you ever modded on other servers. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I might as well say this. I have been a game moderator on LOTC, and
juicy.
And that was before TC though.
No, I know. Like I already know these things.
And definitely when you work as a game moderator on TC, it's very difficult. Or LOTC, sorry. It's very difficult to or sometimes it's very difficult to keep your calm because you have some parts of the LOTC community is very toxic, and they do take the slightest of option to pick on you, to pick you down, and I feel like that's lowered very much on TC. I feel like on TC the staff is way more respected than it is on LOTC, and it's a lot about. It's also in the sense that we have punished toxicity more than LOTC enforces it.
Yeah, I know.
And but we also at the same time have a smaller community, which means that it's easier to moderate.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely on let's say it's easier on TC to keep calm and not get in those toxic situations than it is if you moderate on LOTC.
Well, I would have to say this. I would like to come with an analogy. Do you know how? If you know, have you seen American and this guy's not from America. If you guys can probably tell by the way, you've seen like American TV about how people out here hate the cops and stuff like that, and like they think the cops are racist, bigots, and all that. That's kind of how the relationship between the player and the staff are with LOTC, and it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like I can agree full-heartedly what you're saying when it comes to just the toxicity on both sides. Yeah.
But in a sense, I also tried to look at this when I was at GM at the time, and I can see what people don't get because they don't see the amount of work you do as moderator on any server. They see the result of what you do, but they don't see the things you need to do behind the scenes. They don't see the chats you need to pull up. They don't see the 15 rule books you have. They see the result of it, and if they're unhappy with that result, they blame it on the work of the moderator.
That just feel that like just hearing that just damn, it makes you feel bad about any time I criticize anybody.
And but I can understand it because again they don't see the work that actually goes behind it. And in that sense, I'd definitely say after I've been moderator on TC, also on LOTC, I respect the staff way more because I know what they go through every single day.
That's crazy.
And honestly, I mean, they do good work. Sometimes I disagree with their opinions, but that's opinions, and that's um. We live in a world where you're allowed to have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And you may disagree with the opinions and the things they decide, but that will always happen no matter what.
Yeah.
But the pure fact that I've seen the work they do, that I've seen the amount of time that actually goes into it, it changes your perspective.
Yeah. And honestly, as players, and I can full-heartedly say that I've done this as well in the past, and not as much in the present, but I still do it. You just get caught up in your soul, or like in your emotions and what you want instead of what what's given to you, and like you're not like it's you're not like thankful for what you really get. Although like you may not get what you want, this is what you're getting, and like you should respect the amount of work being put into it. And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be fun. I still have fun and still be entertained. But you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can feel what you're saying, man. That's some pretty deep stuff, though. I feel it, bro. So what made you want to step down from being the mod on TC?
Time. Um, Mainly. I didn't feel like I had enough time to be a moderator. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I could follow up with the work the others did. And that was mainly my work. That was giving opinions on different situations, and if I could follow up on those, I got very lost in it. And I ended up deciding after about a month of thinking that it's better to resign now than keep on just attempting to follow up. Um, then I also wanted to focus on my YouTube channel. I wanted to focus on my Twitch.
Hmm.
Um, I had some other online projects and a lot of schooling. Uh, but again, as I said in the whole what should you have as a moderator time, I didn't have enough time to be a moderator on TC. Um, yeah,
Yeah, man.
that was the big issue.
Yeah, time is a big factor, especially with these YouTube videos. And like, I understand that I've kind of slowed down with the content creating, but time's a bitch. Time is your friend, and time is your enemy at the same time.
Yeah, and yet
It's
it's man-made.
hmm
Yeah, it's interesting.
So how was it working with Remus? Like as just well, how was it working with Remus? How was he as a person? How was he as a boss? You know,
Uh, Remy is a very calm, very nice guy.
you can be honest,
Who
bro. You know, so
I
one
am.
okay.
Remy is a very calm, very nice dude who honestly puts a lot of work into the server and honestly does his best at maintaining the server as it should.
Hmm.
Um, at the power have more been handed over to the grand admin at the moment because I believe Remy is busy in real life. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's a very calm. I disagree with some of the things he decides. I disagree with some of the opinions he have,
Hmm.
but that's opinions, and we're all allowed to have them.
Well,
But he's nice, dude, and he's very acceptable of a lot of things in the sense that I personally helped out in roleplay a lot by doing religious roleplay,
hmm
and Remy allowed me to for example, move to a large city once to actually help out with this religion. So in that sense, he was very he wanted to do what's best for the community, and you can feel that on the staff team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes he felt a little distant from the server. And every now and again, it felt a little like he had these outbreaks. It wasn't very often, but
Outbreaks.
sometimes.
What do you mean? What outbreaks?
Well, again, it wasn't very often, but sometimes you in the staff chat just has this long ass messages which in my opinion was written very very angry. And it was often directed towards one person, which I was not a fan of.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than the feeling of that, sometimes he's a very chill dude and a very very nice guy to both work with and talk with.
So.
And then he's funny to play For Honor with.
Fortnite? You play Fortnite?
No, For Honor.
For Honor. Oh, my bad. Yep. So, but I have a question. Speaking of opinions, what is your opinion on the whole basis of this server being a money grabber, a pay to win? Because there's been a whole argument about that on the forums. Someone wanted me to cover it, and I've said I promised I would ask you this on the podcast. So, what do you think about that, bro?
What is my opinion? Well, as a person who spent about 100 years in the server, I disagree heavily with it.
You're making a lot of people mad now.
I know, and again, this is opinions, and everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. My opinion is that it should not be a thing. My opinion is that the things that we sell on the store should be not sold on the store.
Wait, you highly disagree with it being?
I highly disagree with everything sold on the store except for unique items and custom brewery drinks.
Oh, okay, so you don't believe that being a vampire and a werewolf, you shouldn't believe that should be paid for?
No, I believe that should be applications.
Yeah, it's for a lot of people.
I don't like the fact that you need to throw money in it to be able to do things. Last revamp I bought 2 packs of magic, an outpost, and a werewolf. And being, you don't earn a lot of money in the Thronecraft community sort of age base. And the sole fact that you have to play 60 euros to play a vampire, I think that's wrong. That should not be happening.
Well, one of the people said that if we make like all magic, I'm reading the post right now. If we make all magic and the ability to become a vampire or werewolf free and obtainable via RP, the quality of the server will increase dramatically. Do you agree with that?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Okay. As someone said, if we make all magic and the ability to become a vampire or werewolf free and obtainable via RP, the quality of the server will increase dramatically. Do you agree with that?
I do. I know the server runs on money. I know the server needs money to be able to run. But I don't feel like vampire and werewolf, especially those packs, needs to be 60 euros to be able to buy.
Yeah.
And to be one. And I don't think it's a secret. It might be, but I'm gonna let it out now. The prices are set so high in the hopes that the people who buy it are people that will put some actual thought into it. The prices are set so high because it is believed that the people able to afford these things can roleplay correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And simply that fact I disagree with, because you can be a rich kid and be as stupid as a first grader. Not saying some first graders are not very clever, but most are on a rather low scale. Yeah, I generally disagree with the donation store, and I will call it pay to win because it is.
Well, I guess in the sort of maybe combat, you would say pay to win in the combat sense.
In my thought on it, in my opinion, pay to win is when you buy something to gain something, which makes you better in game. Vampire is a race. It gives you abilities, it gives you stats, it increases your certain abilities, and it opens a different side of roleplay to you. In my opinion, that is a gain from what you normally have, in which I choose to call it pay to win. Because if you don't pay for it, you can't be it. It's the same with werewolf, it's the same with magic. If you don't pay for it, it can't happen to you.
Yeah.
I know there's free spells, but they're nowhere near the level of the spells you buy. And I know that because I tested them.
Okay. And actually, are these spells? Are you able to? I don't really know anything about magic. I actually do plan to have Jagdis become a mage one of these days. But are these spells? Are you able to use them like mechanically, or are they all RP?
They are, as far as I know, mechanically them. But again, they're nowhere near the level of the donation store.
Wait, you cut out. What'd you say? I said mechanically or RP?
They, as far as I know, they are put into the roleplay role or combat rolling system. So they should be able to be used in character in fights.
Well,
but again, they're nowhere near the level of the magic you can buy, and I again think that's pay to win.
I mean, you don't really see this very often, honestly. You don't. So, and one of the things that the guy was saying is Jordanky Esper or Eper or whatever, the guy who made the post. He was saying that you actually don't. The server actually doesn't really make that much money off of people buying this stuff. So what's the whole point of even selling it? Why not make it all RP? You know, people buy stuff from like maybe I think it's donation crates and all that stuff. So like that by itself should let you know, like, I guess a lot of people don't really agree with this.
So let me hold on. I'm gonna pull out the post myself. Yeah, right. And you are saying that the server doesn't run on the donation store. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, basically it's donation store. Basically, so they don't even need to be selling these things because they don't really make that much money off of it. That's what other people are saying. Like,
well, every time someone buys the lowest donation, the lowest create keys, there is a gain of €5. €5 is enough to host a small server. So that means that with about, let's say, 20 keys sold, no, 50 keys sold a week, that's €50, which means that you can host a big server. All in all, every single, as far as I know myself, the donations are indeed what runs the server.
Mm-hmm.
But the price of the donations are so high that it is more than enough to run the server. You could probably, I don't know the prices of the server or anything, but I would believe that with one player buying Vampire, you could host the server for at least 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's about $80, right? Or $40.
yeah, about that. And I mean, just within the last 9 hours, there have been bought for about €100 within the last 9 hours.
Wait, there's been this is the €100 of the donations.
About that, yeah.
Ooh, in the last 9 hours. Are you
In
actually
the
checking a
last
statistic,
9
or
hours.
is this just like an average or like a mean?
No, I can see this in the latest purchases. There's a price tag, and then I just kind of quickly put them together.
Okay.
So within the last 9 hours, there have been a gain of €100, and that is enough to host the server. The questionable thing is then, why is it so high when you can, with these donations, with how many people actually donate for it? Why is it so high? Why not set it lower?
Yeah.
And why not change it up? Because a lot of the things in here should be obtainable in character, should not be locked behind a paywall.
Yeah, and that's what exactly what the guy was saying.
And if the staff team decided to be a little bit creative, they could figure out purely cosmetic ways to gain the same amount of money from the donation store that they are now. I've seen it before. You see it on LOTC. That's the VIP ranks are mainly cosmetic, and they have enough money just from that to run the server for, I think they said, 2 years at least. And probably more, because people buy something every day almost. But I don't think that a donation store should be to gain something. I think a donation store should be, it's called a donation store. You want to donate to the server when you go in there. And therefore, I don't think there should be, you shouldn't gain something from a donation store that others can't gain because they don't decide to donate to the server. You, as your own person, choose to donate it, and then can possibly gain a little thing, but it shouldn't be as massively as it is on TC.
Yeah, I got you. But at the same time, we can't paint Ramu's out to be this guy, even though although he did say that he views this server TC as a business more than as a source of entertainment. What do you think on that? He's openly said that, so it's not like a rumor or anything like that.
Well, is it confirmed?
Yeah, I guess it's confirmed in the post.
Right. Well, I think it is a business. I honestly do. Remy is a businessman.
Yeah. From what I heard, he owns like some guy, one of the TC players, and I'm not saying this is for you. Don't go spamming him or anything like that. But I heard that he's actually makes a good amount of money running businesses outside of TC. So I guess he has a good business background. So like like someone said he was a millionaire, but you know what? We're not gonna get into all that because I don't want to even. But this is just from one person, so I'm not sure.
But as Remy also said in the post, it is a business. It's a registered business. but then he also just claims that he it is more of an entertainment source, and I honestly think that deep down CC is just a business and a creative one.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, it has given people like an outlet to enjoy and entertain themselves, and
It have, but that's how business works. You give something for something else.
Supply and demand. Perfect example: supply and demand. The supply is the server. The demand is entertainment. The supply is the server.
Yep. And 8 out of 10 people that join TC buys something at some point. So in that sense, I mean, it is, and although people say that you can play on it for free, but the things that are under donation store just makes you want to buy things.
It's a business tactic. It's a smart business tactic.
It is. It's a creative business. And I salute Remus for the work on it, and I know that a lot of time have went into it. But I will not disagree with the fact that it's a very creative and interesting business.
Well,
because I can't.
Also, before we even continue, I'm actually taking business classes in college. So, Remus, if you can let me shadow you, that'd be perfect because you seem like just the genius behind this business scheme. But I'm not even gonna call it a scheme, but like just this business, this whole thing. So, but yeah, it is a very creative business, but I think at the same time, I think he really made the server because he loves doing something like this, loves entertaining, because he could have went into any other business venture and made decent money, but he chose to make a server, a Thronecraft, for people to be entertained. So you can't really say that he's just like some cold-hearted business sociopath, or whatever you want to call it, that has no emotions. I mean, I think he genuinely wants people to have fun on the server.
Yeah, I think in the start it was an interest. This server have been under progress for 7 years.
7 years.
It have been popular for about 3. I think at the start, in a lot of the first years, it was an interest. It was a project. But I feel like when the server got really popular around the Karuta times, it became a business. And I feel that even more now that the Grand Admins have been given more power, making Remy able to lay more back in some situations.
Kind of like a board of directors?
Where yeah, so I think in the start it was an interest, but it became a business.
Yeah. But from what I heard, Remus is a pretty decent person. From what I've seen some of his streams, he seems pretty cool.
He is, but he's also a businessman.
Very smart businessman. So, on to a new topic. What do you love about Thronecraft? What are your favorite things? Like, give me 3 things that are your favorite things about Thronecraft.
Oh, that's a fussy question for a person who actually left the server. Thronecraft is amazing. I'm not gonna deny that fact. It have amazing people on it. It have a hardworking staff team. In general, it have helped me a lot in the sense that around when I joined TC, I didn't have it very good in life, and the fact that I made friends on TC that helped me escape the real world, that helped me think about other things, was very nice. And
Mm-hmm.
it have a very tight community. It have a very people actually care about each other.
Yeah, and I actually, if I want to go back to my previous podcast, one of my people who are interviewing were saying the same thing. Like these servers, it's bigger than just a game. Like these people, like it helps people. Like it helps people like get through certain things. You can make friends. You have communities, even though they're just blocks, on pixels and stuff like that. Like it's bigger than that.
Yeah, you gain a different kind of friendship.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like I like doing a lot of things IRL, but like the two guys I interviewed before, like two of my best friends on the internet, and I made that through LTC, and I'll probably be friends with them for a long time while I'm still gaming and all that stuff, or even that past that
Mm-hmm.
when I'm done, like I'll just come on every now and then, and I'll just talk to them. And that wasn't, and even though we just met through blocks and all that stuff, it was, what I mean, it's like you create connections with certain people, you know. And maybe
Yep.
down the line they can help you with certain things. It's
And
just
I also feel like often online you often find people who have the same interests as you.
hmm
Sometimes in real life, it is hard to sort of know, do this person have the same interest as me? But when you sort of go online, you know this person have the same interest in that, then maybe you evolve in that. Like that creates a different kind of bond, a different kind of friendship.
for sure. So onto the things. What do you dislike about the server?
The paywall, um, the revamps, honestly.
The revamps? What about the revamps do you not like?
Um, Although I will admit I was getting tired of LOTC. Um, I find it very annoying. Oh, not tired of Karuta. Um, I find it annoying that I have to that everything in the past, everything I've done for the last 2 years, um, is gone. Because it's a
Yeah,
new world, it's a new universe. Nobody knows anything about what have happened. It's
yeah,
not even a myth.
yeah,
And I feel like there could always be world changes, but I don't feel like the server should change as massively as they do it on TC.
yeah. One thing about when I compare the LTC and Thronecraft is like when I made my new character and I made my character like at the end of the map. If you don't remember watching some of my older my first Thronecraft
Mhm.
video, not my one with Jagdis, but the one with a guy named Caddy Slane. He was his brother was enslaved and all that in Xeris, and I was in I can't remember what the human city was, and I had this great storyline planned out, and all of a sudden I just can't do it anymore. Like it's over. Like their
Yeah.
characters are dead. They're erased from history. And one thing about LTC is they have like a rich history of things. You know, they
All
top,
worlds are connected.
huh?
All worlds in LOTC are
All
connected.
connected. Yeah,
And
it's
and
great.
hi- and history is history. What have happened.
hmm
And a different thing is that the wiki on LOTC is also often updated. It's outdated right now, but I'm sure it will get updated. Um, which also makes it easier for newer players to kind of understand what have happened. They don't do that on TC right now.
hmm
And it can often be confusing that in Glendale Laura there stands that they are part of the Protectorate and hates the Empire, but in character they've joined the Empire now.
Yeah, you don't really like you don't really have any history on that. You know what I mean? It's just like it just kind of happened. You just kind of popped into this world out of nowhere.
Yep. Another nice difference in comparison to LOTC. You get to keep your character.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And if
If
it's a
you
dwarf
really
or an elf,
enjoy
you
your
can keep it for like
character,
3
you
maps.
actually get to keep them. That's nice, I think.
But I know like a lot of dwarf. There's been a lot of dwarf and like elf characters that have been around for like hundreds and hundreds of years and in-game years, of course. But like, and they would just be like, "Yeah, I was around for like 3 maps now," you know. So it's just like, so
Yeah,
that's like kind of cool.
definitely. I know there's some characters on LOTC who've been in character living for over 5 in real life years, and it's
Yeah, that's
kind of
true.
odd, and it's at the same time kind of nice because you have this certain link to the past, link
Yeah,
to history.
for sure. And that's
Um,
actually what I was thinking about. Yeah, you just have that, you can learn things in character about certain last maps and all that. I don't know. I just love the fact that LTC has that rich history, which that's the one thing I would say I wouldn't like about this server. But I guess if you had like a bad, maybe I guess there's like a certain, I guess, good feeling about starting new because you're kind of
yeah,
forced to. Because there's a lot of people that like me, like I don't like starting new characters. Like I've had the same Amy's character. If you guys know who that is, I've had him for like 3 maps now, and I haven't changed him. He's been my main character. I've changed his age when I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, I've checked. He's probably almost like 400 years old. If you like, it's crazy. But yeah, I kept him around, and I'm like the type of person that don't like to change. So I guess that kind of forces you to explore new things, explore new characters, explore different. I guess you know what I mean.
mhm, um, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
Uh,
on. What were you about to say before you? Because this is a serious question.
well, a last thing I dislike is and this is to the TC players watching this. The I dislike the groups of TC. Um, I don't think it's very clear, but it's definitely clear when you truly look into it. Um, there are friend groups on TC, and when a new player joins the I mean, you of course want role play. You want good role play, so people create these friend groups with good role players, and people they enjoy role playing with. But when new players join and they can't find any role play,
Mm-hmm.
it's often very hard to get into a role play group
Straight
because
facts. These is facts, guys. Because I had such a hard ass time finding roleplay. I feel like if I didn't make vids on the server, I think I would never have found roleplay. I'm being straight honest.
yeah, so if you have these role play groups, invite new people, try them out.
Mm-hmm.
Noobs are the future.
For
If
sure.
you don't help the people who might not be as good as you, then they will never get as good as you. Um, I started out having to Google Translate every third word of my sentence when I roleplay. And now
Mm.
I can do, I'd say, fairly detailed roleplay. Um,
Developed over time.
exactly. And I'd personally say I speak pretty good English. Um, all of this is learned through TC because I had people helping me. I had people correcting me in my English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which developed the language. Um, so help the new players, help the people who needs it, because at one point your friend group is gonna slowly disappear, and when that happens, if you haven't helped the new players and they're not as good as you, and you still don't feel like you can role play with them, then you have a problem because then you don't have any role play.
Mm-hmm. And those guys are just noobs walking around trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And I feel like that's one
Exactly.
thing about TC that I would say was one of his weaknesses. Is really hard to really find your way unless you have this certain niche or you meet the right person at the right time when he's online. So yeah,
Mhm.
I fully understand what you're saying. I agree fully. This is a big question, bro. You ready for
Okay.
this? Which server do you think is better, LOTC or Thronecraft?
LOTC.
Oh, that's coming from a Thronecraft
Uh,
boy.
and
I really
that
thought you wouldn't answer that.
uh, and I've been on both servers for about 2 years.
And
I
you're originally
applied for them.
LOTC boy, so
Um I applied for both servers around the same time. Um, LOTC have developed massively over the years. I hear people from 7 years ago, and about how much have changed, and it just works on such an impressive level that TC doesn't have. Um, and then it comes back to this whole pay to win factor. LOTC, you apply for a race. If you're not good enough to roleplay that race, if you don't understand the lore of the race, you can't play them.
mhm.
You apply for magic. Again, if you don't understand how the magic works, you can't use it.
Facts.
And you need to gain a lot of things in roleplay, and I really, really enjoy that. Um, TC lacks of that. The main reason I've played on TC for 2 years now is because of the community. It's because of the friends I've made. But I personally think LOTC is in a different level, and TC haven't reached that yet.
Do you think TC can become like a competitor of like a real competitor of World of the Craft?
I think TC is already a competitor to Lord of the Craft,
But
but
it's still the bigger brother.
it needs what
Ooh.
it needs to develop differently than it is now if it wants to reach the numbers that LOTC is able to reach.
But that would mean allowing because I feel like a lot of the reason for Thronecraft not having the numbers LTC has is because of lack of PvP, like the emphasis on PvP. Because unless there's a war or anything like that, there's not much PvP.
Um,
Like, like a lot of the guys on our server are really like pure PvPers
well,
that kind of developed in overtime into RPs, but really are like primarily PvPers. Like Lord of the Craft, there's like very few. Like I guess it's almost like kind of like 60-40%. Like some of them, 60% of PvPers, 40% are just like pure RPers. So I feel like
something LOTC also have, which TC doesn't have, is an entire team of coders. They are
yeah,
able to produce so many custom plugins. They are able to create so many amazing and different things that TC isn't on the level
mm,
of.
interesting.
And they have, I mean, the way they've divided the staff team and the way that they are doing their staff work is fascinating, and it's well thought out. And again, I do not at the moment feel like TC have that.
Yeah, that's that's understandable. So I do understand that you do play Lord of the Craft. So what is your main character on there now? Just give us a brief description of him, not something too long.
My main character is currently called Henry Diascona, um, which is actually the skin I have on now.
Oh wait, you don't even have on your
He
skin for your TC skin?
hmm?
Wait, this is not your TC skin?
Nope, this is my old. I don't use my TC skin.
Oh, okay. Well, just give me
Um,
your TC. Give me that skin. I'm
okay. Um, he is a noble human heartlander.
Mm-hmm.
Is currently together with Curran and
Chiron's back?
Curran,
They're back?
maybe. Um, yeah, so you have some relation with the Lord of the Bear Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And he is well, he's a traitor. Actually, he was born a jihad cult, and at the age of 19, he betrayed his family and created his own family, which he managed to make noble.
Mm-hmm.
And he's currently on a rather big mission with a lot of people to kill his father and his father's allies.
Okay. So you guys aren't really involved in the September prints or anything, right?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting story. Hopefully, Amis gets to meet him RPly one of these days. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
man.
sure. I need to talk with the Kadrasi at one point.
Oh, really? You have to actually talk with the Kadarsi?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
yeah. Actually, I should
For
probably
some
get back
trading,
on.
I've heard the Kadrasi is good at trading.
Oh yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty good.
So I need to go there at one point. But yeah, and I mainly when I do play roleplay and such, I play on LOTC. I'm currently in the state of taking a break from TC.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
So LOTC would be the server to find me at the moment.
I was really surprised that you said LTC of anything. I thought you would be a Thronecraft for life kind of guy. But that's because I met you on Thronecraft, not because I really thought what your objective or what your real objective opinion was going to be based on, your opinions or anything like that.
Well, I mean, I choose to see it objective. Do you want my subjective opinion?
Well, I mean, I'm always about trying to keep it objective on this channel, keeping it 100, you know. But what is your subjective opinion? You can give me your subject. I'm cool with that.
Well, I obviously like LOTC a lot because I've made some buddies, but I just have way more friends on TC, and I have a lot of people on TC. So I think, in the sense of community, in the sense of knowing people, TC is my favorite. But in the sense of proper serious roleplay and mechanical stuff, it's definitely LTC. So it's kind of a split for me.
So you have I would say that you have more of an emotional connection to Thronecraft, but you have more
and yeah.
But you physically, I guess, or as physically as you can get in the virtual world, the mechanics and actual role play sense is a lot better on Lord of the Craft, which I understand.
Definitely. But objectively, I think it is LOTC who is the best one at the moment.
Yeah, and I'll kind of give my opinion. I think LTC is a better server, but I do love the community, and I guess like how I would say like you guys are pretty tight knit, close knit for a community of like this size. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one thing.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. So is there anything you would like to say to the community, to the fans, as a kind of closing out?
When life gives you a cookie, remember to share it.
Oh yeah, you love cookies. I already know that. Well, guys, this is MCVDK. We got to learn a little bit about him, about the process of the mod, being a mod, what his what his opinion is on the pay to wins situation on TC, and which server he thinks is better. I think this has been a pretty good podcast. What do you think?
I think it's succeeded. I think it's succeed. That's a funny word to use in this sentence. I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I honestly thought that I didn't know how you're gonna be in like interview situations, but you did really well. Honestly, like this is gonna be a really good podcast.
You said now I should say that I do youth panels in real life.
Huh?
I do. I think it's called youth panels. Basically, panels about various things. You answer questions, and yeah, I do those in real life. So that's kind of. I have this.
Oh, okay. You do youth panels, so that's why you. I was like, this guy's really good at interviewing. Like, what the heck? Oh my god! Like,
Yeah,
this is gonna be great. Great content, man.
I'm used to talking my ass off.
No, you do pretty well at it. You do really well at it, for sure. Because it's just like you feel like when you were talking, it felt like there was a degree of like you knew what you were saying, and you were confident in what you were saying, and that was good because I didn't know a lot about the server, so I was kind of asking certain questions, you know, just kind of based off what some Thronecraft players were telling me to ask you. So I think you did well, man.
Thanks, you too, mate.
Alright, guys. So with that said, this is Commando Plays and MCVDK. Oh my god. Signing out. Hold on.
What are you looking?
I'm trying to take a screenshot so I can put them on the screen. Oh yeah, join my Discord. Subscribe to his Twitch and subscribe to his YouTube and follow him on Twitch. Yeah,
it's Commando simple. MCVDK, capital letters.
Yeah, hopefully this his Danish YouTube movement comes back to life. But with that said, this is Commando Play signing out. Have a neat day.